Alright, so this is a video by Aperture, the Dead Internet Theory. I think what is meant by this is just like majority of like the internet are just basically like dead accounts and like nothing really like is there that's like and a lot of AI and stuff. I think that's what it's meant to be. I have no idea though. I'll be 100% real. I got no idea. But we'll just jump straight into it. So yeah.
The internet is dead and we
The
are
internet
the
is dead and
killers.
we are the killers, okay? I mean it's already dead.
Truth doesn't really exist online anymore. Bots have swamped social media with misinformation, and the web pages we surf today are almost entirely generated by AI.
I mean, he said truth. Truth no longer exists online. I would say. That's just my general theory. I would say that. Truth does not exist anymore because people run with the first thing that they see. Like, we can look at, like, let's take, for example, like, some Java content creators. They run with the first thing they see, and, like, they don't look at the other side. So, like, they spread misinformation. I think a lot of that didn't just come with, like, AI. Like, that truth no longer exists online. That statement. That didn't just happen through AI. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's true. That happened way before that.
Even YouTube is flooded with channels completely run by AI with zero creative input from humans. Every single day, less and less of the content we consume is created by humans, and what's even worse is that all of it is being recycled back into a system that we have very little control over, leaving the internet a shell of...
I think the really scary part with this is the fact that a lot of art gets fed into this, which it technically is art theft. At least that's what I would consider it. I mean, a lot of things are now run by bots. Like, I'm a VTuber and like I get flooded with bots. That's just, I don't know. Like my Twitter is flooded with bots. Like, bots are following me, and like, I'm personally just too lazy to like get through like my follower list and block all these bots. I'm just too lazy. It's just ugh.
Of what it once was. Scrolling through social media has become an isolated, empty, and fruitless activity. But how exactly did we get here, and is it too late to revive it?
I mean, some of the things I would say, I mean, it is mindless, especially TikTok. Like, scrolling to TikTok is super mindless, like, because like we have two different like versions of like what we're getting
here. The
here.
internet started as a weapon of war, not an explicit military war, but a technological battle during the Cold War between the...
Did this? I didn't remember watch this. Did this autoplay at some time? I don't know. Yeah, let's continue.
United States and the Soviet Union. This pushed American researchers to develop a way of sharing data and programs through a global dispersed network beginning in the early 1960s. The earliest version of the internet created two universities, the University of California and Stanford. Simple messages could be communicated between them, but it was nothing like what we have today.
So it's just basically like...
that network continued spreading via the use of phone
Okay,
lines.
it's like internet history.
In 1983, there were only 500 computer hosts connected. Within 5 years, that reached 100,000, rolling out to increasingly more countries.
Damn.
Then everything changed with the creation of the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web was a simple concept. It was a network of hypertext documents accessed with a program called a browser. By the mid-1990s, it had moved from scientists and governments into the realm of public consumption. The birth of the internet was celebrated as a revolutionary force.
Like, that's all makes sense. Like, yeah, that's obvious.
Power could be put back in the hands of the people. The borders of regulation and nationalism would be transcended, creating a new age of society. You no longer needed a media or a political platform to air your views. Everyone can become their own publisher.
True, yeah.
Something that wasn't possible before. There was only one problem: greed. As years turned to decades, the internet followed a familiar path, the same one almost every other important technological innovation did before and will keep doing. Dozens of internet service providers had emerged, but they slowly began merging into just a few big companies, leaving consumers with no real choice.
True. I mean, we here have, like, internet providers, like, three here in Germany, like, three big ones. So, like, they all, like... And depending on where you live here in Germany, you really don't have any other choice but to pick a certain one. So, like, yeah, there is kind of like a monopoly situation in most areas.
Just like with radio a century earlier, thousands of different companies were slowly bought or priced out of the market. This was true for both the infrastructure and the web real estate. By 2001, when the dot-com bubble popped, the top 10 websites made...
Just remember that, like, a lot of companies nowadays, they all are just, like, the same company. Like, look, if you look at certain products, like, for example, like Coca-Cola, you look at certain soft drinks and they just lead back to Coca-Cola. Like, it's the same, like, company, basically, that runs, like, these other companies. That's what it is in
made up
school.
31% of page views in the United States. And by 2006, that number climbed to 40% and then 75% in 2010. At the same time, iPhones and smart devices changed our relationship with the internet. Browsing the World Wide Web became less common as people shifted to semi-closed applications, and in 2010, these applications accounted for less than a quarter of internet traffic. Today, it's 90%. Keeping users inside the confines of applications made advertising more effective. Having created an entirely new ecosystem, Apple was on its way to becoming one of the biggest companies in the world thanks to this closed system. After the dot-com bubble popped, only 5 tech companies were able to survive and thrive: Google, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Microsoft.
Okay.
The big 5 are now virtually impossible to avoid on the internet, whether through advertising, e-commerce, or the cloud computing hosts that websites depend on. This tech dominance has permanently changed our society, and as these industry giants compete in a technological arms race for the next big weapon to sell consumers, that being artificial intelligence, the last vestiges of a utopian internet could be lost. Connection and...
Like, it's already, like... There are, like, politicians that specifically, like, go after, you know, like, the internet and try to, like, censor it. That is already happening, even without, like... Sure, they have pretty much control on what consumers, well, consume. I mean, that makes sense, sure.
And truth. Nearly 5.5 billion people have access to the internet, and the average user spends 6 hours a day online. It's by far the world's...
I'm a VTuber. I spend, like, I don't know. It's more than 6 hours, that's for sure. How did I survive this brain rot? I do not know.
biggest market.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, the most valuable
I cannot tell.
in that market is your attention. Views, likes, and reviews are worth their weight in gold, and this has led to a huge shady marketplace for all kinds of engagement. Money has turned the internet into a tiered system, ripe for exploitation. Creating a successful channel or social media profile can be a lucrative long-term investment. With a few clicks and dollars, anyone can buy thousands of Spotify streams, Instagram likes, or YouTube views. How can companies offer these services?
If you bought, you're kinda a loser. Just my opinion though. If you bought, you're kind of like a loser. If you buy views, likes, whatever. Just my 2 cents.
Well, employing thousands of people to click on posts manually would be far too expensive. Instead, they use bots, automated, unattended software. When set on a target, they artificially engage with the post, boost it in the rankings, and attract more attention. Websites do their best to scrub bots out, but it's almost impossible to remove them all. Over the last 6 years,
Twitter and art Like art scammers. Ever since I became a VTuber, there were so many art scammers. It's insane how many there are.
Deactivated over 27 billion fake accounts. Some
27.
believe it's already too late to take action against bots.
5.5 billion people use the internet. Taking that into consideration would mean that Jesus, that would mean the majority of people on in the internet are basically bots. That's crazy, or dead accounts, or like literally dead people. Good God.
I think we may have reached a dark tipping point. First posted in 2019, the Dead Internet Theory proposes that we're living in a dystopian ghost town populated by simulated actors. According to the theory, something changed around 2016.
That is true.
The internet had become so saturated by automated content that having a genuine human-to-human interaction was rare, if not impossible. Surfing the web was like driving alone and only passing automated vehicles on the road. The theory's original poster admitted that it sounded conspiratorial, but they were certain of a feeling that something was distinctly lacking. There was an emptiness online that hadn't been there in the early 2000s. Images, conversations, and memes all began to resemble one another, while forms that were once exciting now felt sanitized. This was all.
I mean, you would never know if like somebody was a bot or not. That's like the question. You can like look at certain things that make an account look like a bot. For example, on Twitter, if they like have a blue banner, that indicates they are a bot. If they have like an art description, kind of, that also may seem like they are a bot. It's like you can look at certain things and and like tell that this account is a bot. Like that is possible. Is it as easy as it was back then? No, absolutely not. Certainly, no, it's not. But like, there's still ways to tell that someone is an account is a bot. You can tell.
All
Sometimes.
supposedly all carefully curated to keep control of culture and political power, and most of all, to make sure that the general population stays in line. The Dead Internet Theory remained on the fringes until 2022, when a grand unveiling brought the issue of bots to global attention. On November 30th, 2022, the world was introduced to ChatGPT. Built on a large language model that processes gigantic datasets and forms relationships between ideas, it is the most advanced form of artificial intelligence ever to exist. For decades, computers have been much more powerful than humans at specific tasks,
AI
like
girlfriends
chess or math.
that is the worst shit that has ever graced the face of this planet. Dudes don't have to go out and get like an actual relationship anymore. They can just tap and get an AI girlfriend. That is insane.
Mathematical calculation.
Or an AI boyfriend.
The question that divided computer scientists and philosophers was whether or not computers could ever transition into a kind of general intelligence. Mathematician Alan Turing asked this question in 1950. He developed the Turing test as a way to determine whether a machine was thinking. The test was simple. For a computer to pass, it has to fool a human into thinking they're talking with another human. Last year, ChatGPT-4 became one of the first to pass the Turing test. We had officially...
Yo! Okay, that's kind of scary in this case. Because, like, if it can pass as a human... God, imagine you have, like, you get to know somebody on the internet, and, like, you fall in love with them, and then... the truth is something on the other side. The thing sitting on the other side is actually a bot. An AI. That's gonna happen. That's gonna eventually happen. True, every year we get closer to SAO. True, Burning Robber. Hi, how are you doing, by the way? True. I mean, the concept of SAO is like cool. Like if it's actual people, like you play a game like that. I mean, the concept is okay, but like I don't know.
brought a machine to life, and suddenly the Dead Internet Theory became not just a conspiracy, but a likely future. And if we can't distinguish between humans and AI anymore, Who can we trust?
Not the AI bots on Twitter.
49.6% of all internet traffic in 2023 came from bots. Even...
What? About 50%? Okay. Okay. That's wild. 50% basically is like just bots. That's crazy. That is crazy.
More daunting is that things are likely to get much worse. Now that search engines have started to integrate AI technology like ChatGPT into their services, the flaws have never been more clear. Tech giants are rushing products to the market to compete with each other for supremacy. In the process, there have been some disastrous results. Google's entry into the world of AI, Gemini, told users that rocks are a source of vitamins. Astronauts who landed on the moon...
Rocks are a source of vitamins. What? Fine. I'ma head out and eat a rock. I'll be back. What? That's wild.
Encountered cats. Backpacks are just as effective as parachutes when jumping out of a plane.
That is wild. Okay, that's a wild one. That is a wild one. Imagine. Just imagine. Yeah, let's jump out of a plane with just a backpack. Sure. Why not?
These tech-fueled hallucinations come from them trying to piece together gigantic amounts of information that have been compressed. And they do this with an algorithm that identifies...
Gemini wasn't... This AI was, in other words, it was high on this information.
...the important components and interpolates the missing pieces. Anything creative is usually generated using a composition or altered version of work that has already been created by humans. Artwork and music online are being used as training data for artificial intelligence.
That's what I hate a lot, but like, don't hate the player, hate the game kind of situation. Because like, what are you gonna do about it? Who is gonna enact that law? Let's say there was a law that like prohibited the use of like feeding your AI with like real artwork. How would you even like make sure that that is not done? Because that's the question. How would you make sure that that's not happening? You don't. Because like, how are you watching this?
Too many arguing that workers are being exploited. Hundreds of artists backed by the nonprofit Artists' Rights Alliance.
Yeah. There was a video on a dude. Maybe we'll react that. Maybe we'll react to that. That video is out there. Maybe I can find it. But like, there was a video of a dude who basically lost his job, and because he was like a designer for something, and he lost his job to an AI because they trained his material. No, they trained the AI on his material, and since like that material belongs to the company, yeah, he can't do much against it. That is wild.
Open letter seeking to prevent AI from sabotaging and undermining artists. On top of that, these models don't know how to judge whether or not a source is trustworthy. Instead, they gravitate towards popular responses, which can range from reliable academic journals to a meme made by a 17-year-old to gain Reddit karma. One individual created a fake website designed purely to trap crawlers. These are automated programs commonly used by search engines to systematically download the contents of web pages. They realized that the GPT bot was collecting around 3 million pages from their sites every day. This was a small...
What? That is crazy. That is insane. We are feeding this machine with all sorts of information. That's crazy.
Small window into the quality of data that is being scraped by chatbot AIs and forming their responses, which isn't exactly a positive sign. What's even worse is that because so much of the internet is already generative AI, the next generation of AI will use content created by the previous generations as training datasets, and with each passing generation...
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Obviously, that makes sense. What I'm questioning, however, is they are definitely hiding things that we do not know about. They have probably way more trained AI than they want to admit. That's just my theory, though, but like, it makes sense, kind of, to have that.
The work these AI tools produce will continue to be less and less human. Search results will be filled with AI-generated content, and finding trustworthy sources will become even more difficult. The word robot was first used in a 1920 Czech science fiction play called Rossum's Universal Robot. It comes from the Czech word robota, which loosely translates to slave. This was a good description of mechanical robots used in production. They were simply tools like a hammer or a calculator.
Pretty
As
much.
robots moved into the digital world, though, the relationship between master and slave has been blurred. Online media is already largely controlled by artificial intelligence. Powerful automated programs determine whether content succeeds or fails. Advertisers pay millions for professionals to crack the code of mysterious algorithms.
The problem is, like, if this does fuck up eventually, like, how would you be able to stop this if eventually nobody would even be able to understand what's going on? That's a question that I'm asking. Like, if nobody understands what's going on, like, how are you gonna fix it? If something does go wrong. Another question is, like, how does this influence, like, relationships in the future? Like, if people do start to use AI, like, girlfriends and boyfriends, like, how the effect of that, like, how do we know that how this will end?
Because they're constantly changing, these programs essentially create a secretive inner functionality process not even known to those who design it. Left at the mercy of pattern recognizing supercomputers, our behavior has been shaped around them. Social media sites have shifted from authentic social engagement to prioritizing consumption-driven models. As long as they can keep you online, it's good for business. While they're
basically the peak description for TikTok.
Algorithms process unimaginably large datasets to create profiles of you as a consumer, categorizing your online behavior to create personalized ads.
That's pretty
All
much
it
what it
takes is
is.
a single click to fill your feed with a certain subject, pulling you in to consume more. The system rewards copycats and imitators who observe successful content, and they have no choice. To survive, online creators, influencers, and marketers must constantly seek the algorithm's approval. In the end, even the humans who create are forced to create.
Thankfully, I don't. I just do what is fun. So, like, I don't really have that problem. The thing is, like, if you like become slave to the algorithm, like, are you really you? Is what I'm asking.
Create generic, unoriginal content. And there's a reason people are complaining about the
Remember the prank era? When everybody did pranks, and, like, all you could see on your For You page is pranks. All you could see on, like, the main, like, website of, like, YouTube, all you could see is pranks. In the, like, trending tab, all you could see is, like, pranks. I remember that era. That era was very popular in Germany back then.
Mr. Beastification of YouTube. But who can you blame? When a creator feels like the only way they can succeed is to appease the almighty algorithm and they see how well Jimmy Donaldson does that, why shouldn't they copy him? As Friedrich Nietzsche argued,
Yeah, but as a small creator, how would you be able to, like, copy, like, somebody like Mr. Beast? That would not work. And I do feel like people are more and more gravitating towards authenticity more and more. But that's just my theory, though. But, like, I feel like there has been a shift to what people watch, like to watch.
people tend to follow the herd for protection, afraid to show authenticity and confront truth. With this comes nihilism, where the herd drifts aimlessly without meaning or certainty. That is reflected in the algorithm. The content we consume and perpetuate leaves us in an infinite cycle of emptiness. Our aesthetics and values are
True. We can relate this, for example, to, like, replica content. like just getting like fed with all this red pill doomer, like the term doom scrolling, like doom scrolling all the time, that will leave you with emptiness, and and the algorithm will feed you this information regardless if you want to or not. Like I had my doom scrolling era on, like, when I like really used TikTok, and like yeah, it was bad. Like every session, like just watching TikTok felt bad. It made me kind of like feel a little miserable, empty. I kind of understand what he's trying to elaborate here.
Are now curated by non-human forces. So is our culture still ours? Are humans the ones giving the orders, or has technology become our master? The commercialization of the internet, the concentration of a handful of companies, and the creation of a quick but dangerously inaccurate generative tool have given us a technology that is manipulating our deepest weaknesses. The emergence of bot armies offers a shortcut for business development. AI offers a shortcut to creativity for low-quality content production. Powerful algorithms have fueled our addiction to short-form content. Has the internet become a carefully constructed reality we've all been...
That has not worked yet. I do not have the attention span of a goldfish. I can still watch like video essays and remember most of it. I can pay attention. I don't struggle with that.
...presented with? Not to the extent
the
that
algorithm hasn't got me
yet.
yet.
As artificial intelligence spreads through the internet, our sense of reality is being seriously shaken. It's a wake-up call to change course before it's too late.
But I can see that, like, the huge difference between, like, what is it called? There's huge difference between, like, views that shorts get and views that, like, regular videos get. Like, there's a big difference.
The internet alive, we need the courage to break away from the herd. Acknowledge that the current systems aren't working, and that humanity is more important than profit. If you like the videos we make and would love to support us to make...
That's not gonna happen. 'Cause money is our god now. That's not gonna happen.
Bigger and better projects, we just updated the Patreon. Everyone who joins will get free access to our updated Discord server,
I basically
where
think,
you can
like,
connect with the Aperture community.
That's it for the video.
Patrons can choose from different tiers with perks like discounts on
This
all the
just
merch we
seems
have.
like, yeah, just the stuff for the Patreon. That was an interesting video, a good video. I mean, it didn't really go that deep into the topic of, like, the dead internet theory, aside from, like, the AI stuff and bot stuff. So I guess it did, kind of. Like, there are probably bigger videos and more, like, complex videos. But, like, yeah, that was a solid video.